I think the brands are doing a great job educating barbers and hairdressers. Sometimes I would say they do a better job than schools
Yeah.
because they are constantly involved in what's trending, and then they have really good educators. They
Mm-hmm.
have seminars, they have workshops. We took a seminar from Paul Mitchell. It wasn't to do like haircuts, it was more how to manage a barbershop, and I was amazed. It was like 4 days and we learned so much. So I think the brands are doing a great job
Yeah.
in, like, for instance, Orlando Premiere, that it's close to us. We always go every year. They do a great job
And they
teaching.
helping exposing a lot of artists, good artists. They
And
are
I didn't
kind of
even
hate, and now they are
I
exposed.
didn't even know that. Like when I my first time when I went to Orlando Premiere, there's so many classes in there that you're like, I want to take this one, but it's at the same time as this one, so you have to pick and choose. Like, oh, like do I take this one or
You
that
know what I
one?
can see? I saw in your profile. I'm cutting you off because this is amazing. I see if I look in your profile, you always involved. You're always involved in education. You're always out there. You're always connecting. You're always learning. You
Because
know.
you have to. Because if you stop educating yourself, you stop growing. Doesn't matter how much you know. Doesn't matter who you know. Doesn't matter how much you travel. If you don't educate yourself, you're gonna stop growing. Because they're gonna keep learning. They're gonna keep putting out new techniques. They're gonna keep out putting new products. They're gonna, and you have to learn. And especially if you want to be an educator, if you want to teach somebody, it's gonna get to a point. Like for instance, let's say I've stopped going to seminars, and I keep teaching color, or whatever. It's gonna get to a point that I already said everything that I know, and everybody there's gonna be somebody
It's
that's gonna
old
go.
school.
Yeah, somebody's gonna come to my class and gonna be thinking that they're gonna get something new, and they come to my class. It's like, oh, this is the same thing that this guy said like a year ago, because you don't have nothing new to pour out.
You know what I have to say about that? Uh, to be able to be an educator, you need to sit down and learn first,
Yep,
and then you stand up to teach.
of course.
Right.
Because if you're not learning, you don't have nothing. Like it's like you're like an empty vessel. Like if you don't fill it up, you fill it up when you educate yourself. You pour it when you're given the education. Then you're empty again, so you have to fill it up again, because then your next class you don't have nothing to give them. You're just like talking.
And the more you fill it up yourself with uh, knowledge, information, connection, you can, how you said, overflow in other people's life.
Mhm.
And you're saying, one thing that you're saying, like if you don't go to those places, connect with those people and learn, you stop in your life, in your career. But there was something that I wanted to say about that. I think life is like an escalator. Escalator is constant moving, right? If you stop in escalator, right, you keep moving backwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's stability in life, or either you moving forward, but you never stop, or you just always
Move.
backing up, you know.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. See you in all social medias that you have. You are educating yourself. You're constantly out there connecting with people.
And one thing that I learned from your
Class?
Workshop?
the
Seminar?
class, the one that you guys had at Bird, remember?
Uh-huh.
It was at your shop. That class, it was so crazy because I went there like not knowing nothing. Like I learned, I knew who Bird was, but it wasn't like I knew like Bird, whatever. And to me, I connected with him there, but it was like I asked him, like, the typical like barbers, like, oh, follow me, this is my page, and this is and that. And he told me one thing that to some people might be like, what this guy thinks he is, but he told me like, oh, I only follow people that I met in person. But I was there with him, so he followed me. So he's like, oh, I'm following you because I only follow people that I meet in person. So, like, to me at the beginning, I was like, what does it matter? Like, if you don't meet him. But then afterwards, I started thinking about it, because now when I see him somewhere, like, he's gonna
Remember you.
Yeah, he's gonna remember me. Oh, you're the guy that was in the class, and this and that. And another thing, when it really hit me was like, remember when Bird was like, "Oh, everybody stand up and like share their social media and start following each other," the guy that was in front of me, we shared social media, and when he looked me up, he was like you this guy? And I was like, yeah. He was like, yo, I follow you for like, look. And he showed me like all his saved posts. He had a bunch of saved posts, and he didn't even know that was me. And like to me, that like changed my whole like thing. One Bird telling me about like meeting people and following and connecting with them, and then a lot of people that follow you that never seen you in person, and it was more because I wasn't showing my face a lot back then. I was just cuts and cuts because I didn't really like. I didn't think I had to show my face. But that seminar like changed. Like okay,
You
I
know,
had to show
Bird
up.
taught me a lot too. I really, I'm very grateful for what he's have done for me. When I met him, I start realizing that the same thing as you. He taught me a lot. Actually, he taught me to be less afraid to talk in public, to connect with more people, like you just say in person, be out there. Tico, you need to be out there, man. He was pushing me, and I was sweating, talking. He said, "You can do it."
He
So
even
I love Bird, man.
invited Tico to showcase on the rise of hair, and I think that was very important to make you more confident about your potential, because I don't know if this happened to you where you're afraid like, oh my god, am I really good to the point I can be on stage? Maybe I'm not that good. You feel like you don't know enough, and then you're scared like, what if I don't know enough to teach all these people? So he was a really good friend that encouraged Tico, and he invited him because Tico couldn't speak in public. He
Yeah.
I
couldn't.
couldn't.
That's
He
that.
Like
would
this,
choke.
I will be sweating in my armpit right now,
Yeah.
and here like